Well, hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Walking in Her Shoes. We have such a special treat for you today. But before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Optimal work meaning being share this information with someone else. We have a wonderful guest today, but she's actually going to be family to our show. How are you today, Maquira?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself, Liz?
I am doing wonderful. I am super excited to have you join us. And I know you come to us with a wealth of information and insight. And I'm just excited to get started with our topic today.
I am excited as well to be joining you. I appreciate and honor being here with you.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh, thank you, thank you. We are talking about the Superwoman complex today.
yes.
And what does that mean? I guess I'm gonna bounce the ball in your court today. What does that mean?
Okay. The Superwoman complex, my understanding of it, what I've learned from it thus far is pertaining to Black women here in America, we tend to think that we have to be in control of every facet of life, even facets that don't necessarily pertain to us. But more specifically, we have to be in total control of our jobs or our workplace, our children, people we involve ourselves with. We also find that we have to be on 100 when it comes to our personal lives. And what happens is with the Superwoman complex, we are in so much control of it all that we tend to lose control, not realizing that we're unraveling and losing control.
I like what you said about being in control of it all. And I'm just wondering, I guess we see our mothers and we just continue to, uh, we pass it on to our daughters and to their friends if their friends are watching us as models, because we never know how many people are actually watching us or what type of impact we're having on their lives. And so I think that type of um, responsibility or role, it starts to be passed on generationally, generation to generation. So you
Mhm.
said we feel like we have to be on 100 all the time. I know I'm totally guilty of that. Times I'll say, wait a minute, I think I'm gonna put my Superwoman cape up today.
Take
I'm gonna
on.
put the cape away today because it feels like you're always, like you said, on 100.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And we don't realize how sometimes if we just learn to delegate responsibility to other people, then how much easier things will be. And it also teaches us how to prioritize ourselves. When we are able to say, you know what, to your 10-year-old child, it's your job to make up your bed and set a schedule for them and hold them accountable for maintaining their responsibility to their bedrooms or going to work. And sometimes we want to take on all the tasks because we want to make sure that we are staying in the forefront so that we're recognized. But sometimes it's even better when we share a team aspect with our colleagues that we are being just as recognized for our positive attributes there as well.
Absolutely. And what I'm hearing you say is something that I struggle with, and it's delegation, being
Yes.
able to delegate to other people. And I think that's I don't even know if that's a learned behavior or people have taught me, because it seems that um sometimes you delegate and then it get dropped and then you go back and you have to clean it up anyway. So
Mhm.
that's where my challenge has been. And I think associating yourself with like-minded people sort of helps you to balance that out a little bit, and it shows that you can delegate and that those responsibilities will be taken care of, and you don't have to
Right.
be because I don't like the role of being a, what do they call it, when you're hovering.
Those helicopter moms or the helicopter
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or micromanagers. That too.
Micromanagers. I think that yes too. That is absolutely the overall term of it all is micromanaging.
It's
Yes.
micromanaging. Yeah, they
Mhm.
they used to say I had this unique way when I was raising my children, and they're all grown now, all adults with their own children. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but They used to say that I was a drill sergeant, and I just had this thing about my children that I wanted to make sure that they were that they were that they could take care of themselves, you know, because I was a divorced mom when they were young, and so I wanted them to be able to take care of themselves. So, you know, I don't know if it's a drill sergeant. They used to, you know, like climb on the milk carton to make their bed when they were little, and you know, they just did that. But what's so great about that is I made them my partners. I have no idea where it came from, but I
Mhm.
made them my partners. So they didn't get paychecks. I mean, they didn't get allowances. They got paychecks. So
Okay.
if they did their chores, they would get, you know, we had a little chart. They would get paychecks, and I had them go to the bank and they were signing their little deposit tickets. I had them doing all of these things because they were like my little business partners. And it's just so
Yes.
funny. It's just so funny that, that being able to see them maneuver, but now that they're adults, they maneuver very well in their lives. My
Mhm.
oldest daughter, when she first went away to college, which was been many years ago, she said, "Ma, they're talking about me because I'm writing a budget." And she stops at they were paper checks then. Everybody's doing cards, debit cards now, but there were paper checks. And so she said, "Wait, I'm balancing my check. I'm taking away what I spent at the register, and people are looking at me around like it's something wrong with me." I'm the odd one out up here. She said, "Everybody's bouncing checks and everything." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, don't you balance your checkbook?"
Good money habits.
Yeah, so we learn those habits though as we're growing up,
Right.
so I think the superwoman complex, like what you said just a little bit ago, it is very, very, it's challenging, and it's a very daunting role that we put on ourselves.
Yeah. And I think also we don't even realize that we're putting it on ourselves. I think we
Hmm.
don't even realize that just an example that you gave us, as far as you're teaching your children to be financially smart by making them your business partners. But in a superwoman role, we would just assume all the responsibility for that. We wouldn't even give our children the skills that they need. We wouldn't even, and I think in the end, as we look at it encompassing, we realize, I would think that it is our level of trust with the people in our lives and with ourselves, with the people who are close to us. Is it that we're not trusting others enough to say, I believe they can handle this responsibility and be accountable for it,
And
or
I
even
think that,
trusting
yes.
ourselves?
Yes, and I think that goes back to this, I just learned this, it took me many, many years to learn this. Everybody can't be in the front stage of your life.
Right.
You have to select the people wisely. And I think sometimes we sort of sleepwalk through life and we don't even realize that we absolutely have that choice. We have a choice as to who we share that space with. And when we share that space with people that we can delegate to, I think that's one of the ways for us to pull ourselves back from being or trying to be, or not. I don't even think we're trying to be. I think it automatically happens that we start to be that superwoman, or
Right.
think that we have to be that superwoman. And I'm hearing you say that we don't. And what I'm saying is when we select I don't want to even say proper people because I'm not being judgmental, but the proper people for you in your life.
The proper people for you, but some of those people we haven't selected, because some of those people are our children. Some of those people can be our parents. Some of those people
Mm-hmm.
could be our brothers, our other family members that we trust and we know can actually do the job, but we don't even allow them to. But when it does come to
Yeah.
that selection, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
important that we recognize that in our intimate relationships, that is definitely where we have control over.
Mm-hmm.
But even through that superwoman complex, and tell me what you think, Liz, that sometimes even when we're choosing our mates, we'll choose the wrong guy and the
Yes.
wrong partner, and we
Mm-hmm.
still delegate everything because that person has shown to us, not delegate, excuse me, control it all. But they
Mm-hmm.
may have even shown to us that they're not the right person. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of us holding ourselves accountable, we choose to maintain them and project our feelings onto them rather than saying, you know what, you're not the right person, then I need to remove myself from this relationship. And then when you do have the right person, you definitely want to maintain that control. You continue maintaining that control instead of allowing that man to do his job as a man.
Well, I think those are some sabotaging behaviors, though. Um, because I think you're right when you say, and I think, I'm not sure where that comes from as women. Why do we hold on to the wrong partner? I mean, we keep like,
Again,
I mean, it's even like you keep. It seems like we continuously, we either, we know or we've identified that that's the wrong person for us, and I've been guilty of it too. So that's why I'm talking out of
absolutely.
experience, you know.
Absolutely. We
And
all
then
have.
that cause devastation in your life if that's
Right.
not the right. And I'm not saying, I'm not being judgmental. I'm not saying that anybody is 100%, because nobody is 100%. What
Absolutely.
you're,
Right.
what have you. But I think having those hard conversations up front, and I think coming to being honest. I think a lot of people
Yes.
have, they have a problem with being honest, or they feel like it's the other person can't handle it, so they're not allowing that person to really uh, um, say what they can handle themselves.
Right.
So we're assuming that that person can't handle it, so now we color the truth, and then it just becomes a dishonest relationship, and then you still hold on, and you hold on, and you hold on. I don't know if there's all types of ties that you have with that person that you
Mhm.
don't let go, and it's like, well, let
Mhm.
go, because you never know what your blessing is right around the corner if you let go.
Right. Exactly. But not only that, when we continue to hold on, we create a fermented or that toxic relationship that we tend to continuously perpetuate that cycle of probably previous toxic relationships that we've all involved ourselves with.
Hmm.
But I do completely believe that a lot of this, going back to an earlier question you had, a lot of this develops from learned behavior, like you said. So the learning of our mothers and other women in our lives, but then also because we continue to perpetuate making the wrong choices and not being honest with ourselves, not just being willing, we're not willing to be vulnerable with ourselves, to have those hard conversations, like you said, and say, what am I doing wrong? What have I done to continue the cycle that I'm finding myself in? Why do I
Hmm.
feel I have to be in so much control of everything? Why do I feel my life isn't as successful as it can possibly be? Why do I continue to look at myself and say, you you still have so much more, like why can't I be of acceptance of myself as I am and still say I
Oh,
have
that's
room
big.
for growth?
That is huge, huge. We are so hard on ourselves as women. We are like, we, I mean, it's like we pick ourselves apart before the world even picks us apart, and then we get
Yes.
there, and that's a double whammy. And so your question, why, that's the $1 million question. And I think until we start doing some self-development, and I'll put myself out there, because our show is about being transparent. And so
Mhm.
I started to go through personal and professional development with myself, because I was sick and tired of getting thinking that I'm gonna keep doing the same thing and getting a different result. I mean, you do the same thing, you're gonna get the same result. So that was practicing insanity, if you will. So I got
Yes.
sick and tired, and I was ready for a change. And I had to realize that the change had to come from me. It had to come from with what's inside of me. And it was something that was going on that I needed to change. And in order to be able to change that, sometimes you have to step outside of yourself, because obviously the answer isn't inside of yourself. Because if it was already there, you already knew what to do, then you would have been doing it. But if you don't, open yourself up to say, I need some education, I need some exposure to something different. Maybe I need a mentor, maybe I need a coach, maybe I need a therapist. I need something other than myself. And I think for some reason, I've learned this wonderful word. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
It's called help. Why do we
Yeah.
feel like we don't need help? It's like,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? That's a wonderful word I've learned. And it
Yeah.
took me many years to really understand and realize that help is a phenomenal word, and there's nothing wrong with that, because
Nothing at all.
realizing that we all need a little bit of help every once in a while.
Yes. However, though, if I can, just to be a little candid and honest.
Yes.
And you are absolutely correct. We are here for transparency for our sisters. But at the same
Yes.
time, honestly, I do think we have a little bit of that inside of us. When we do not listen to our internal voice, when our voice inside of us is saying something is wrong,
Yes.
we will have flags waving all around us. When we doing too much, our bodies will break us down and tell
Yeah.
us that, hey, you're doing too much. Our, people around us, when we get around certain people, our bodies will give us warnings and say, hey, that might not be where you need to be.
Yes.
So we do
Yes.
have a little bit of that inside of us. And I think sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
fear of just allowing someone else to do it, whatever the it may be, stops
Mm-hmm.
us from looking on the outside and saying, hey, maybe you need to do something different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I definitely, I totally agree with the internal intuition or the internal, I do definitely believe that. I think my thought is if I'm ignoring it or I'm suppressing it or I'm not paying attention to it, the
Mm-hmm.
help then comes that the help point comes how do I learn how to listen to and take heed to those warning signs because I'm not doing it like
Right.
for example um I've been so driven throughout my journey that when I became a divorced mom with children. I said, okay, these are God's gifts to me. So now I need to put my head down and I just need to go for it. I need to give
Right.
them everything that I can give them. And for some reason I put it in my head. I wanted them to I wanted them to have a launching pad into their life at 19. I was going to commit to everything until they were 19 and I want them to launch into this life. So I put my head down, but in the process of that, because of some other things that I've shared on other podcasts, but it brought me to a point where I actually shut down everything and I wasn't feeling things. So I could hurt myself and not feel it or just keep,
Mm-hmm.
and this just a little funny story. We were racing one morning, when you have children in tow and you're trying to get to work on time and everything,
Mm-hmm.
so we're running out the house and I slid down the like it was like a drive the wood going to the driveway or yeah, whatever you
Um,
call it, and I slid on it from the dew and I fell into the rose bushes. It tickles me now because I think about the whole thing, but I fell into the rose bushes, right? And I tore my knees up, tore my pantyhose up, and my children are all standing around, like, trying to help me get up. And I'm like, just go in the house and give me some more pantyhose.
mhm.
So they ran in the house and got me some more stockings. I just drove them all to school and everything and went to work. So I'm sitting at work, my knees are bleeding.
Oh no.
Mother comes over and she says, what's going on with you? And I said, I fell in the rose bushes, but I'm okay. I'm ready to get started. Just give me a minute. And she was like, no, you need to go across to the hospital. And she made me go across to the hospital. And they were like, yeah, you needed to be there. You need to get those wounds cleaned out and everything. But that's what I'm saying about being in an unhealthy place where you don't allow those triggers inside of you. I mean, how many red flags was telling me that day you need to
Right.
get over there and get those wounds cleaned out because you didn't bruise up your arms. And I'm sitting there like, where's my next thing of work? Because I'm thinking I gotta create this paycheck for these children.
Right.
But that's what I mean
Right.
about, yes, we can have all types of internal clocks and everything or internal warning signs, but I think the help part becomes, okay, there's something going on with me. This is not normal, if you will.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so and we do that in relationships all the time.
All the time.
And
We even do it in relationships with our own self.
it will help me understand that a little bit.
Because I think that we're not even just a little transparency for myself as far as, the topic. When we don't, just for the example that you just gave, we do that with our lives. We're up, we get up at the crack of dawn before the sun even comes up, and we're the last ones in bed. So when we don't stop to take care of ourselves, get in bed at a decent hour, making sure you're eating healthy, and things of that nature, we then bring about issues like high blood pressure, high cholesterol. We bring about challenges with our cycles, our menstruation, and I don't even have any understanding as to why we don't stop and take time to go to the doctors. And there may be all different host of red flags that's taking place there, but because we don't take the time out to take care of yourself or even listen to yourself, instead, again, we beat ourselves up. We
Yes.
rather just live with the pain that goes within our menstruation. I dealt with that for years, Liz. I
Wow.
was in so much pain and did not know from all the stress. I'm a single mom as well, taking care of my children, um, and being so having filled with so much pride. I can do it by myself. I can do it by myself. Going to school for years, full time, working 3 full-time jobs at one time, and all of those things, and maintaining my household and my children and work and everything. By the time I finished, I ended up realizing I had failed relationships. I had to go in and have, other health problems and challenges that I had to go through, ended up with
Hmm.
major health problems.
Yes.
And now I'm trying at this point in my life, trying to undo it all, and put
Yes.
myself in a better position.
Yes.
And it's just simply from what you said, being willing to say, you know what, I can't do all this by myself and I need help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, with myself, I turned everything off and said, okay, the children didn't ask to be here. They're my gifts. And now I'm going to do what I need to do, versus allowing myself to say or be vulnerable that, okay, yeah, I could use some help. I could use a hand, or even, just, I mean, so I think, the point of it all here is for us to, um, just help our sisters to understand, and we're talking from experience. We're coming from experience of, having, I've had burnout, major burnout multiple
Yeah.
times,
Mhm.
and then, some other things that happen. So I do understand that racing, 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 never giving yourself the opportunity to just woosah, or like, some of the things that I added to my day, which is, people laugh at me because it takes me about 2, 3 hours before I can leave the house. But I have to get up
Mhm.
and allow that time for myself because, I'm recuperating from a car accident injuries. But I must, in order to function properly, you know, take my proper herbs. I need to meditate daily. I need to listen to positive affirmations to get my mind right. I need to
Right.
stretch. I need to drink water. It is very challenging to drink 128 ounces of water, which is what we recommend. But it's a lot, to get that water in, even if, trying to get half of that water in. So I know how difficult it is. But when we go into like dehydration, because these are all things I've done, went into dehydration, and we know 80% of illness is emotion,
Right.
and so if we're talking about being under stress, and most of
Mhm.
us, when we go into to the hospital or to the doctor, even through urgent care, oftentimes the first thing they do in the ER is give you an IV because they know
Right.
that we're severely dehydrated. But those are the
Right.
things that, self-care, what you were talking about. When we talk about, okay, we brought what the challenge is, the challenge is that we put this superwoman tag on ourselves, and we try to meet that high standard that we
That's
set
why.
for
Yeah.
ourselves, and we try to do it by
Mhm.
ourselves without, and so uh so I think the solution would be to really, to thyself be true, is something that I work at living by. To thyself be true. Find out what's going on with you, and then start implementing some things that will relax you. Like I stopped, and I don't know why, when you start feeling better, you stop doing the things that got you there. But some of
Right.
these things are like something that you need to continuously do. Like find yourself some good meditation.
Yes.
I pray. There's just a lot of things that I do. And then sometimes I shut everything down and I'll stop and I'll watch a movie and really just like get into the movie and enjoy it. What happened to
Mhm.
the fluffy slippers and the big the big warm cozy robes, and we call them
Yeah.
throws back in our day. I'm probably dating myself, but the fluffy throws, and the
Yes.
cushiony, just those kind of things. And even one of the things, I took a class about how to shut down your day. And see, because I'm high like all over the place. So at night, to shut down your day, like burn some nice aromatherapy candles,
Yes.
would and this is the thing too. We've forgotten how to enjoy the shower or a bath.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
we just run through it like the car wash.
Yes. Yes, or just simply enjoy a good night's rest, making sure your room, is
Yes.
is good enough for you to sleep in. So,
Yes.
oh my goodness, yes. But you know what I think that we've forgotten? A
What's that?
major part of all this that you have mentioned earlier is the just the realness of having a true friend and not
Mm,
pushing your friends away. Having that
yes.
support.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
It is nothing like a good sister girlfriend, I'm telling you. To
Yeah.
have your back, that you can, I mean, that if how you walk out the ladies' room sometimes and you slip, well, I know we don't wear slips anymore, but if something isn't right, the one that won't laugh at you because you're walking
The
down there
tag
exposing your
in.
undies.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll pull
Yes.
that in, or they say, "Girlfriend, we're not color blocking, but that pink and that
Right.
purple and that green kind of
Not
that
working.
didn't work." But that it's
Yes.
coming out of love. And that's
Yes.
something that I talk about a lot, is that, having the sister girlfriend, even just, just to be able to just sometimes just go and have something to eat, or, sip
Right.
on something or whatever, just to what is it? Just, what is it called?
Rest. Mhm.
Decompress. That's what it is. Just
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
decompress, and just to be able to just woosah, take some deep
Yeah.
breaths and be okay.
And with that superwoman complex, what we have done, some of us, not all of us, is we are in competition with one another.
Oh
And
gosh.
we see another woman that may be doing, they're doing the things that we want to be doing or we may admire. It can be
Yes.
just as simple as her hair might be laid, or her makeup is flawless on a regular basis, or she just might
Yes.
have flawless skin, period.
Yes.
Or, it seems like her home is always well put together, or she just in that perfect relationship. We find ways to be envious of it rather than celebrate it, and be of comfort to one another and be of encouragement to one another. We tear each other down, and I don't understand that. And I think that that is part of that superwoman complex, that we have to be better than the next. And that's something I think we have to remember, is that if we didn't have a model in front of us of what it is that we know we can attain, we might not even realize that it's attainable.
I
So
love
why
that.
not encourage? Why not be encouraged? Like, girl, I am loving what you have right now. How can I get some of that?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. You know what? And I do it. I'll see, a lady that's well put together or something. And I was doing it one day. I just saw the lady come in, and I mean, she like, I mean, everything, every hair. And I'm like, how is that? How's
Mhm.
that possible? The wind is blowing and her hair is flawless.
Right.
But I told her when I met her at the door, I said, oh my God. I said, you are doing the thing. You are. I said, just everything is just, and she said, "Ah, really? I do not feel well today. You just made my day." See, you
See?
never ever know.
There you go.
You never
Right.
know whose
Right.
day you're gonna bless. And I think if we can throw that challenge out there, just to be kind to a sister, be kind to one of your
Right.
sisters. We all are sisters out here. We're
Right.
in this together. Just be kind to one another, and you can always find something beautiful about your sister to say.
Absolutely.
Instead of tearing her down, let's switch that. Let's do a shift and say, okay, and I mean, honestly and truly, it's nothing that you can't accomplish when you got your sister girls with you. It's nothing that you can't
Absolutely.
accomplish. You encourage
Absolutely.
each other, and that energy bounces off of one another. And, I'm just, I'm throwing that challenge out there for everybody. Embrace somebody, embrace a sister girl, and say, you know what? I'm going to love on you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to love on you because I know we all need love, and eventually I'm going
Yes.
to get it in return.
Absolutely, absolutely. It has been a pleasure today. Is there anything that you would like to leave with our people?
Um, I will leave. Don't be afraid to prioritize yourself when it comes to your feelings, when it comes to your care, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't even possibly be able to love on somebody else if you don't love on yourself first. That includes your children, your
Yes.
man, your girlfriend, your
Yes.
mother, your father, your cousins. You can't even begin to love on them if you don't love on yourself first, because you won't have the energy inside of you to do it.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
what I
Lisa
think.
Nichols, I'm not really quoting her, but this is a philosophy that she teaches, and that give out of your saucer and not out of your cup, because if you give out of your cup, you'll deplete yourself and you won't have anything to give anyhow. So
I
give out
love
of your
that.
saucer and not out of your cup. So what's in your cup is for you.
Right. Right.
So I
Absolutely.
am excited that we're going to be able to walk in her shoes. How about that? We're going to bring
Cool. I
some
am too.
exciting topics and have some exciting conversations. And we always encourage for our audience to leave comments if there's something that you want us to discuss, something that just leave a comment, and we'll bring it up on one of the upcoming shows. I also need to do a shout out to Felicia. I told her that I would tonight. She was I had a very pleasant conversation with her today. We just encourage one another, and she's new to the show and everything. So I just wanted to let her know I didn't forget you. And it was something that we talked about that I told her this is what it was. It was, some people come into your life to be a lesson. Some people come into your life to be a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to allow that person that's coming into our life to be a lesson. We have to let them go.
In order to get our blessings.
There
Yes.
you go. Yes, see, that's how Sister Girl do. Sister Girls finish
Yes,
your sentences for you. That's how you know you're in the right company.
absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, until next time, you all don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with someone else and make sure to stay fearless. Bye for now.